Hi guys, so you should have watched the transversal introduction by now, as well as done your vocabulary. So you should treat this just as you would taking notes in class. So to start with, you need to write the objective at the top of your paper. What you take from this is what's going to be your notes for the next test. Just remember that on Wednesday that we're not going to go back and hit this lesson again, so you need to make sure that you're taking thorough enough notes that you won't be left behind. At any time you need to, pause the video and then you can continue it at your own pace. So to begin with, you've already talked about all these vocabulary words. You should have put them on the vocabulary sheet. If not, you should probably go back to the vocabulary video and make sure that you have them in there so that way you know what we're talking about. Even if you didn't do the vocabulary, you still have the opportunity to get them now. I would make sure that you have the model as well as the definitions and maybe a couple of symbols so you understand and so you know. So looking at this example, it says June is cutting a corner off of a piece of a rectangular tile. Classify the relationship between X and Y. So looking at X and Y, you can see that it's a straight line. So knowing that it's a straight line, going back to your vocabulary again, this is also an extensions vocabulary. You should have said that the angles are supplementary, then their sum of their measures is 180. So if this angle right here is 135, you're looking for X. So this is where you're going to set up your equation. So X plus 135 equals 180. At this point in the year, we shouldn't have to tell you how to solve this. You should automatically know how to solve this. And so your answer should be X is equal to 45 degrees. So looking at this one, she's looking at these two tiles. You can tell that this should create a 90-degree angle. So if it does create a 90-degree angle and you're classifying the relationships between A and B, you should have said that they're complementary. If you know A is 53 and you're looking for the measure of B, you should have set up a equation that would have stated X plus 53 or 53 plus B is equal to 90. And then you would have gotten that the answer is 37 degrees. So at this point in time, you need to pause the video and you need to complete this problem. And then when you come back, we'll give you the answer. While you were solving this, knowing that they're complementary, you knew it had to total 90 degrees. So you should have gotten 24.7 degrees. So looking at parallel lines and transversals, that was all a review. So if you need to refresh on that, you might want to come in and ask questions. Because this next piece might be a little more difficult if you're not understanding that. So more vocabulary, alternate interior on opposite sides of the transversal inside. So meaning angles 3 and 4, or alternate interior meaning angles 3 and angle 5. So their angle 3 and angle 5 are going to have the same measures. So they're alternating, they're on opposite sides of this transversal. They're inside the parallel line, so they're both on the inside. Same thing with alternate exterior. They're on opposite sides of the transversal. So 1 and 7, 2 and 8, outside the parallel lines, opposite sides of the transversal. And then corresponding or in the same position on the parallel lines in relation. So angle 1 and angle 5, they lay in the exact same position just on a different line. So they're both on top of their parallel lines. They're both on the same side of the transversal. 2 and 6, same thing. 3 and 7, and then 4 and 8. So all of those would be the same measures. So looking at this, this is just saying that A is parallel to B and Q and R are your transversals. Classify the relationships between 3 and 5. So if you're looking here at 3, and then you're looking at 5 on the other side, you should have said that they are alternate interior angles and that they are congruent. So they're both on the inside of their parallel lines. They're on opposite sides of transversal Q, so that makes them alternate interior. Measure of angle 1 is 120. So this one's 120, so you're looking for the measure of angle 5 and the measure of angle 3. Well, to start with, you know that angle 3 is vertical to angle 1. So another extensions term, you should have known that, or you could have looked at your vocabulary. Okay, so you know angle 3 has to be 120 as well. And then going back and finding that they're alternate interior, those are also the same. So angle 5 and angle 3 are both 120 degrees. You could have also classified this as angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding. It just depends on how you want to justify that. Classify the relationships between angle 9 and angle 13. So at this point, you should pause the video, try it on your own, and then come back and we'll give you the answers. So if you're looking and you look at angle 9 and angle 13, you should have said that they're also corresponding, so they're also congruent. And then if angle 13 is 75, 11 has to be 75 and so does 15, meaning 15 and 13 are vertical, so you can see that. 15 and 11 are corresponding, 13 and 11 are alternate interior. So there's a couple of different ways you can classify them. Looking between 11 and 15, so pause the video and you do these. When you come back, we'll give you the answers. So looking at A, you should have said that angle 11 and 15 are corresponding, so they're congruent. For B, you should have said angle 11 is 78.5, so angle 9 is also 78.5. Number 7, in the figure of the right, A, B, and D is 164 degrees. The measure of find the measures of A, B, C, and C, B, D. So, because you're looking for the value of X, the total measures are 164. So the first thing you need to do is you need to do the measures of A, B, C, so meaning A, B, C, B is being your vertex, plus C, B, D, so both of these angles. So all I'm doing is I'm going to add them together and they have to total 164. So your equation should look like 2x plus 23 plus x equals 164. And then you're going to combine those terms. So you're going to have 3x plus 23 equals 164. And then obviously you'd already seen the answer, so x should equal 47. So you're combining like terms, solving that two-step equation, and then you can find what x is equal to. Once you find x, that's the first thing that's the first step, but I'm also looking for this. So going back to substitution, you're going to replace x with the 47, and then you're going to solve this problem. So 2 times 47 plus 23 is equal to 117 degrees. So you had to find both x's in that case. So the single x is 47 degrees, making the other angle 117. Pause the video and then you guys need to do this one. So for this one, you should have gotten for the 3x equals 5x minus 36 for your equation. And then you should have gotten negative 2x equals negative 36, so x equals 18 for A. And then for B, you had to resubstitute back in there, and you needed to put that 5 times 18 minus 36 is 54 degrees. So the reason these ones were a little different than the last one is they're vertical angles, so you just have to remember those rules. You have to remember that you set them equal to each other. At this point in time, you need to pause the video and do all 10 of these problems. Once you've completed all 10 of these problems, or as you go on, you can come back and check your answers. But make sure that you're actually completing them on your own, because the only way you're going to get the practice is to make sure that you're doing so. So pause the video, go ahead and do that, and then when you come back, you'll get the answers. So number 1, you should have said that they're supplementary and they're 34 degrees. Number 2, you should have said they're complementary and 27.1 degrees. Number 3, you should have said supplementary and 75 degrees. Number 4 was 128 and corresponding. Number 5 was 128 and alternate interior. Number 6 was 52 and supplementary. Number 7A was alternate interior. 7B was 117. 18A was 6, or 8A was 6. 8B was 24. 9 was x is equal to 20.4. Q is equal to 139.2. And M is equal to 18.3. 10, x is equal to 9.5. M is equal to 71.7, R is equal to 18.3. After you finish this, just make sure that your accountability is that you are going to have a quiz. So after you take your quiz, you're able to use your notes. So I guess that'll determine who took notes and who didn't. This is just good practice for you guys. You guys could have copied down the answers, and if so, that's fine. But your quiz score is obviously a bigger grade than your homework. Now that you've finished, you need to complete 11.1 graded practice. That is due next time. No, you don't have homework, but some of you may want to because you're still responsible for the quiz and for your grade. So I would make sure that you are practicing those, asking questions, writing down questions, so Mr. Zeidler and I can clarify them when we get back. So have a fabulous Monday, and we will see you when we get back Wednesday.